What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today we're going to be checking out the brand new 2019 7th generation 10.2 inch iPad. And I say brand new, but as you'll see in this video, there's really nothing brand new about it. So we'll talk more on that once we unbox this guy and take a look at it. Now the unboxing experience is going to be exactly what you'd expect from an Apple product. We have the color coordinated Apple logos on top and bottom, same with the iPad text on each side. So we're just gonna go ahead and dig into the plastic here. It's a lot harder to unbox the iPad than the iPhone because we still, for some reason, do not have the pull tabs on the iPads. All right, so we got the plastic off there. Let's just go ahead and take the top off and you can see we have the iPad right there. Now this iPad does start at $329 for 32 gigabytes of storage, and then you also do get the option for 128 gigabytes of storage for $429. And of course that is for the Wi-Fi only version. If you want cellular, add $130 to each of those price tags. So we're gonna set this to the side and just take a look at what else is in the box here. It's exactly what you'd expect. Like I said, we do have the regular USB cable to Lightning, so we don't have USB-C here. We have our Designed by Apple in California pamphlet here with your get started guide and your Apple stickers. And then we have the same 12-watt power brick here that we've had in the iPad for a while now. All right, so let's go ahead and set all this to the side, take the plastic off this iPad and talk about it. So this is the 2019 7th generation iPad. I did get mine in the gold colorway. If we flip it around to the front here, you can see we have that brand new 10.2 inch display. So it did get a little bit bigger. It jumped up from 9.7 inches from last year, but it's still practically the same boring LCD display. Now, of course, since it is a bigger screen, we do have a larger resolution at 2160 by 1620, but with the exact same pixel density as last year. We also have the same 500 nits of brightness from last year. We have the same saturation, pretty much the exact same everything. So you can see here we do have the setup screen as expected. Now I'm assuming this does come with iOS 13 as well. So of course, as you've already seen by now, we do have the same ugly bezels around the display here on the iPad. Looks really bad, especially when you're coming from an iPhone or an iPad without the bezels, but I do get it. It is the entry-level model. It's only $329, but still, it's ugly. So we do have Touch ID here as well. You can see I am going to set that up. It's the same Touch ID sensor as last year. Nothing has changed there. It's not going to be more accurate. It's not going to be any faster or anything like that. We of course don't have Face ID like we have with the iPad Pro. Now inside of the new iPad, we do have Apple's A10 Fusion chip, which is the exact same chip found in the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus from 2016. But guess what else it's also in? That's right, last year's 6th generation iPad. So it's the exact same chip. We didn't even get an upgrade in the internals. We're still rocking that 2016 CPU. So you can see here in the setup, it's just asking us for our express settings. We're just going to continue on all this. I'm going to update my settings manually. We'll set up Siri later on. I don't feel like saying those magic words. It's telling us about screen time, app analytics. So yes, this is going to come with iPadOS 13. And you can see here we do get the light and dark mode, which is all new here in iOS 13 and iPadOS 13. There are a lot of big benefits going from iOS 12 to iPadOS on an iPad. There's gonna be a ton of big features in iPadOS 13. I made multiple videos about that. If you haven't seen them, I will have links to those down in the description below. But of course, that is going to make this new iPad feel a lot more powerful and a lot better than previous iPads just based off software alone. However, you can still get iPadOS 13 on the older iPads as well. So there's really not a lot of point in updating to the 2019 iPad, but I'll touch on that a little bit more. So like I said, we have pretty much the same display, we have the same chip. So what about the speakers? Yep, those are the same as last year as well. Touch ID, like I mentioned, that's also the same as last year. What about the cameras? Remember we had that ugly, super terrible 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera last year? Yep, that's still the case here in 2019. Same 1.2 megapixel camera on the front and the same terrible camera on the back as well at 8 megapixels. So no improvements in the cameras. So what about 2nd generation Apple Pencil support? Nope. That still doesn't work here on the 2019 iPad, only 1st generation Apple Pencil support for some reason. And it just continues to feel the exact same as last year's 9.7 inch iPad. So what is actually different from last year's iPad to this new 2019 7th generation iPad? Well, the display size, that's pretty much it. I mean, we have the addition of the smart connector as well that allows you to connect a smart keyboard to your iPad and, type on it. But I highly doubt anybody that buys this iPad is going to even consider buying that smart keyboard because it's $159. That's almost half the price of this iPad right here. That doesn't make any sense to buy that. And you likely only bought this iPad because you're on a budget. I mean, that's pretty much the only reason anybody would buy a $300 tablet is because they're on a budget. There are so many better options in the iPad lineup, so nobody that buys this iPad is probably going to be buying a $159 keyboard. Now, like I said, we do have iPad OS 13 here, which is really nice. You're going to get a really nice experience on the iPad with iPad OS 13, a ton of new features, completely redesigned on the home screen as well, going from iOS 12. But again, iPad OS 13 is also available on the older iPad, so it's not like you're getting some exclusive software or anything like that. This is also going to be available on last year's iPad. And just playing around with this 2019 iPad for a few minutes, it feels like deja vu. It just feels like I'm using the same iPad as last year. Of course, because like I said, it pretty much is the same thing as last year. And that's a big reason I would not recommend the 2019 entry-level 10.2-inch iPad, but I would recommend the iPad Mini 5 from just earlier this year. Now, this guy has Apple's far superior A12 Bionic chipset in it. It's going to be literally like at least twice as fast as this iPad. It also starts at 64 gigabytes instead of 32 like this iPad, and it's only $70 more than the 10.2-inch iPad here. Now, yes, of course, you do get a much smaller display, as you can see here, but you're going to get a much more powerful device. You're going to get a better display, just a more compact device as well. But of course, I understand that's not for everybody. Not everybody wants this small display. So you can also go up to $499 for the iPad Air, which has a very similar 10.5-inch Retina display, and that same A12 chip that I was talking about is in the iPad Mini 5. Now, I did make a video earlier this year on why I returned my iPad Air for the iPad Mini, so you may want to watch that video before purchasing any iPad. But of course, like with any purchasing decision, there are a ton of variables. Everybody uses an iPad for a different reason, so I may as well throw another option out there at you as well, and that is the top of the line iPad Pro, the 2018 iPad Pro. If you want the best of the best, this is the device to go with. Now, the 2018 iPad Pro is only for those Pro users who are going to want the best of the best. Of course, this is the best tablet on the market, and this is definitely the one to go with if you don't want to update your tablet for a very long time. This is a tablet I feel like you won't have to upgrade for like 10 years. Every other tablet, like this tablet right here, the entry-level iPad, the 10.2-inch that I've made this video on, is pretty much only going to last you a couple years because it has Apple's outdated A10 Fusion chip, and it's just not going to last long unless you only do things like web browsing and note-taking and things like that, which I totally understand. I mean, that's what some people do. That's what a lot of people in the market for this iPad are going to be doing. And quite frankly, a lot of people won't care about the bezels as well. Pretty much the only people that will care about the bezels are people that have like the iPad Pro, or if they have an iPhone that doesn't have bezels, it will be very annoying. But if you don't have any newer Apple products, it's not really going to bother you. But of course, you guys have heard my opinion. I don't like the look of it. I don't think it's very powerful. I don't think it's worth the money, because I think for $70 more, you could just get the iPad Mini, or like I mentioned earlier, you can go up $100 and get the iPad Air. There are just so many variables for choosing the right iPad to purchase here in 2019. So the bottom line is, if you're in the market for an iPad, I would not recommend getting the entry-level iPad this year. Even if you only web browse and take notes, I still wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's worth it. Like I said, the iPad Mini is my choice in this price range, but only if you don't mind the slightly smaller screen. Now, if you do mind that slightly smaller screen, then the iPad Air or last year's 9.7-inch iPad are both better choices than the 2019 10.2-inch iPad. And by the way, guys, the Apple Store isn't the only place to purchase these things. You can find anything I've mentioned in this video on Amazon or on eBay, and you can get them at a discounted price. Apple is always going to be selling the iPads and iPhones for more than what you could be paying on Amazon or, like I said, on eBay even. But like I said, the 2019 10.2-inch iPad is pretty much exactly the same as last year. We have the same speakers, we have the same cameras, we have the same A10 Fusion chip, we have the same display, just slightly bigger. We have the same colors, the same storage, same everything. So that's a big reason to not purchase, not pay a little bit more for the 2019 version, because it's pretty much exactly the same. So anyways, guys, there you have it. That is my video on the 2019 10.2-inch iPad, the 7th generation iPad. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. Is it something you're considering? Did this video make you not consider it anymore? Let me know your thoughts about this iPad and any of the iPads down in the comment section below. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe for a lot more videos on all the latest Apple products and also the latest iOS releases. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.